So you're thinking about purchasing a home in Alpharetta, Georgia, and you want to know all there is to know about Alpharetta, Georgia, the good and the bad, the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows, the ins and the outs. Well, if that's you, then you've come to the right place because we're exploring everything about Alpharetta, Georgia, and we're doing it right here in this video. Obviously, if you live in the metro Atlanta area already, you can just drive up to Alpharetta and take a look, but there's so many of you watching right now that don't live in or around Atlanta. For those of you that may be not so familiar with Alpharetta, Georgia, Alpharetta is about 26 miles north of downtown Atlanta. If you fly a lot for your job or just like to travel, then you want to know where the airport is. And the Hartsfield-Jackson Airport is the international airport that services Atlanta. And from Alpharetta, you're talking about 34 miles south of Alpharetta lies the airport. So if you're commuting a lot either to Atlanta or need to go to the airport a lot, it's good to know these distances. In terms of population, Alpharetta has about 66,127 people. In terms of rankings, Money Magazine and Realtor.com get together every year to rank the top 25 cities in the US. And a few years ago, Alpharetta, Georgia ranked number 24. So again, great place to live at. If you go to niche.com, you're also going to find that Alpharetta is constantly either the number 1 or number 2 city, not just in Atlanta, but in all of Georgia to call home. Speaking of niche.com, let's take a look at a few of the things that you may be wanting to know about Alpharetta, and let's see how niche.com ranks them. So when it comes to public schools, you'll see that niche.com gives public schools here an A+ in Alpharetta. Housing, it gets an A-. When it comes to good for families, you're looking at an A+. Jobs is an A. Cost of living is a B-. Outdoor activities is an A. Crime you'll see is a C+, and I'm going to let you know right now, I definitely don't agree with this. We're going to take a little bit further look into this as you would go through this channel, so if you're worried about the crime ratings, we'll take a further look at that. And then commute time, they give it a B. A few more things that you're probably going to want to know about Alpharetta, Georgia. So when it comes to the median sales price of a single family detached home, you're looking at $680,000 as the median sales price. When it comes to rent, you're talking about $2,015 in terms of median monthly rent for Alpharetta, Georgia. 68% of people here own their home, and the median income for Alpharetta, Georgia for a household is $134,000. So what are we going to cover in the pros and cons in this video? Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to cover housing, community feel, quality education, commute, safety, and things to do. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it. Hey, if this is your first time in this video and you want to know everything there is to know about living, working, playing, and breathing all things Atlanta and the metro Atlanta area like Alpharetta, Georgia, then hit that subscription button, tap that notification bell so you can be the first to know about all the things that are happening here in the Atlanta real estate market. My name is Jonathan McCoy, and I get calls, texts, and emails from people just like you looking to make that move to Atlanta, Georgia, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're making that move right now, a month from now, or a year from now, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I'd love to talk with you more about making that smooth transition here to Atlanta and the metro Atlanta area. My contact information is below. So starting with these pros and cons, we are going to take a look at housing first because, heck, I'm a realtor and housing is one of the most important things to me. So let's take a look at housing. Now, right away, we're looking at a con here to Alpharetta, Georgia, and that's housing. Housing costs are really high here. The median sales price right now for Atlanta, Georgia hovers around $400,000, and the median sales price here in Alpharetta, Georgia, we are talking about $680,000 for a single family detached home. That doesn't mean you can't find anything lower. There are some deals to be had here and there. If we take a look back at the last 90 days on the MLS to take a look at what's sold here, the lowest price home that's sold here in the Alpharetta, Georgia area sold for $324,500. To contrast that, the highest listed home right now here in Alpharetta, Georgia is listed at $6.85 million. So there is a large range of homes that are available here in the Alpharetta area. Now, if you're looking at a townhome or a condo, you can get in for less. Matter of fact, there's some condos here that are the 1 and 2 bedrooms that can sell for as low as $200,000. So there are some places you can get in for that lower price, but you're definitely getting a lot less home, a lot less square footage. But Alpharetta is just such a great place to live, which is why that the prices here are so high. Now, when it comes to these neighborhoods are fantastic. They are just so well kept. A lot of them are newer. A lot of the builds here in Alpharetta, I mean, you can get back into 60s and 70s homes, but there's so many of these homes that are in the 90s to 2000s to brand new builds right now. And some of the ones that a lot of people are interested in are Avalon. Avalon is this great area for shopping and dining that we'll get into in a little bit, but there's some homes here in the Avalon, and these are townhomes and a few single family detached close by that are being built right now or just were built in the last few years. But the get-in price we're talking about is like $1 million, and it goes up from there. Very high end, but you get a lot here. I mean, you have everything you can have: shopping, dining, entertainment, right there at your fingertips. If you're looking to build or buy in the Avalon area, then right at Avalon, you're talking about $1 million plus. Another great neighborhood in the Alpharetta area is Windward. Windward it's actually a mix of 44 smaller communities that make up Windward, and there's Lake Windward here and a boating community that you can be a part of if you live in Windward. Another thing that can be found in Windward is the Golf Club of Georgia. This is a private golf club. In Windward, you are looking at a mix of homes starting from the $600,000 range and going up to the $2 and $3 million range. So again, a big variety when it comes to purchasing homes here. If you're in the $600,000 range or a smaller home, you're definitely not on the lake. But as you go up, you get these huge single family detached homes that are just beautiful with a lake view. So if you're looking to be close to Atlanta and you want to live a little bit of a lake life, you actually have an option here, which is why those prices are higher. With all that said, the good of housing is, again, you're living in some fantastic homes, some newer homes. Everything's just so well kept. The bad is that these homes definitely come with a price tag that's much higher. The next thing we're going to look at is community feel. Now, the best way I can describe Alpharetta is it's got this newer feel, this trendy feel, this faster paced feel. It's kind of like living in downtown Atlanta, except a suburb version of that. So it's a little bit smaller, more spread out without as many skyscrapers, but it's definitely got a faster, more trendy feel to it, like you're living in the city. This is very different than a suburb that's just south of Alpharetta, Roswell. Roswell has this historic feel, feels older, has a lot more nature around it, a lot more trees. It just has a different feel to it, a little slower pace to it, whereas Alpharetta, again, has that faster pace. So if you're looking for a little more hustle and bustle, a lot newer things to do, trendy, then Alpharetta definitely could be that place that you want to call home. Alpharetta definitely ranks high in niche.com when it comes to families, as it ranks either number 1 or number 2 in terms of families wanting to move here in a place to raise your families. Also, if you're single or an empty nester, it's a really great place too, because it's got a lot of entertainment and nightlife activities that are available, a lot of outdoor activities. So there's a cool community feel, but again, still feels like that a little bit more of a city feel to it, like Atlanta, than it does a suburb sometimes. One thing that's a con to me is the diversity. Now, niche.com actually ranks the diversity a little higher than I think it is. Again, how do you just rank diversity? It's hard. You can look at the percentages. So I'm going to break down the numbers a little bit. But again, as you go around and walk around Alpharetta, you'll feel that it's less diverse than a lot of the Atlanta and Metro Atlanta areas. So let's take a look at those numbers. All right, so taking a look at the latest census numbers, in terms of Caucasian white, you're talking about 53.6% of the population here is classified as white, 12.1% is Black African American, 22.2% is Asian, 7.6% is Hispanic Latino, and 4.5% is other. Again, these numbers are a little bit different than you find in other areas, as you find the percentages a little more equal in terms of African American and Black, Asian, Latino, Hispanic, and other parts of Atlanta. Again, it kind of depends on your feel for what you're looking for, but if you're looking for a little more diversity, this ranks a little lower than other parts of Metro Atlanta. All right, the next thing to look at is education. So if you have kids or you're just interested in schools being ranked really high, the Alpharetta area has some of the best schools in all of Atlanta, and matter of fact, all of Georgia. There are 3 main high schools that are in Alpharetta now. These high schools are located in Alpharetta. There are some houses that go to schools that are just outside of Alpharetta. So again, if you're new to the Atlanta area, the schools and how they work can be very different than other states. But the 3 high schools that are in Alpharetta are Alpharetta High School, Denmark High School, and Chattahoochee High School. If you go to niche.com, all 3 of these get an A+ rating. Now, I've talked multiple times on these videos that I do that school ratings, don't take them at face value. They can be helpful, but a lot of these ratings are based on things that you may not find important. Number of AP classes, number of students enrolled in AP classes. Diversity is a part of that. Free and reduced lunch is a part of that, and how the scores come in with all that involved. So you may find certain things important that these Alpharetta schools might not offer, or you might find that these offer exactly what you're looking for. So when it comes to rankings, when it comes to these schools and how these different websites rank them, look further into them. But for those that really like the rankings, niche.com again ranks these really high. When it comes to Alpharetta High School, it's actually ranked as the number 3 high school in all of Georgia for niche.com. Bottom line is this: most people are going to really like the schools here in the Alpharetta area. Another thing they offer, and this is throughout Atlanta areas, lots of sporting activities, lots of extracurricular activities, AP classes. I mean, the list goes on and on. So you're not getting shorted when you come to the Alpharetta school systems, as they have plenty to offer when it comes to not only academics, but also outside of academics and extracurricular activities as well. Next thing we're looking at is Commute. Now, if you know anything about Atlanta, you know that we constantly rank in the top 2 and 3 cities in all the US for bad traffic. So commute time might be rough here, especially if you're going into downtown Atlanta. So it is definitely something to think about. Now, the major freeway that comes up through Alpharetta is 400, and 400, man, it can be a bear sometimes, especially right now. So if you take a look at this map here, you're going to see 400 connects with 285. Now 285's the interstate that goes around Atlanta. It's the perimeter. And right now at 400 and 285, they've been doing construction for 3 years now, say 2 to 3 years, and it's just been a nightmare to get around this area. So just to give you a heads up, 400, again, it can be a pain to travel north and south on depending on the times of days. It's really not fun right now where 285 hits it. And just to give a heads up, in about a year or so, I think they're going to be starting a new toll lane that's separate from the rest of the interstate. You pay, it's express toll lane, but that construction is also going to cause some headaches along 400. And man, I'm guessing that's going to last another 2 to 3 years. So man, you're talking maybe 4 years from now, you'll be maybe done with the construction on 400. So just to give you a heads up, if you're commuting in Alpharetta and you're using 400, this one's not so great. There is good news though. One good thing is 400 is close to Sandy Springs. We'll show it on the map here. And Sandy Springs has a MARTA station. And MARTA is the transit system for Atlanta, and this has a MARTA train station. Now, our MARTA train station just goes north, south, east, west. It's definitely not as good as you're from New York, the New York subway system, that gets you everywhere. So MARTA is lacking in that case, but there are certain great places that it goes. One of those places, if you're into sports, then where the Atlanta Hawks play, the NBA team in Atlanta, and where the Atlanta Falcons play are right down, and the MLS team, Atlanta United. You can actually go on to MARTA and get right there at Mercedes-Benz Stadium and State Farm Arena, so those go there. If you're going to the airport, you can take MARTA all the way to the airport as well. So for those that were concerned about traveling from Alpharetta to the airport, your best bet might be getting on the Sandy Springs MARTA station and just traveling down that way, especially if it's heavy traffic. It can save you a lot of time. All right, next up is safety. Now, niche.com gave it a C+. Look, I've been all around Alpharetta and hang out there plenty of times. I've never felt unsafe in Alpharetta, in any part of Alpharetta that I've been to, and I'm not real sure where they got the C+. I looked a little further into their numbers, and even looking at their numbers, it didn't make sense that it was a C+ ranking. So you go to other websites, you'll see it's ranked really safe for an Atlanta suburb. And the crazy things about it is a few years ago, Alpharetta was actually ranked by US News as being one of the top 25 safest cities in all the US. And it certainly hasn't changed that much since those rankings came out a few years ago. So not quite sure why niche.com put C+ here. Look further into it for safety. Feel free to. I'm just giving you my opinion on it that I've always thought Alpharetta was a super safe place. So you look into the numbers, make your own decision. I just didn't want you to see niche.com C+ and think, oh, this is not a safe place to be, because they also rank it as an A+ and one of the best cities in all of Metro Atlanta and all of Georgia to live in. So if it was unsafe, I don't think it'd be ranked that high. So, you know, do what you want with that. Next thing we're looking at is one of my favorite things to talk about, and that's things to do. So when you're not working, what are you going to do around the Alpharetta area? So let's start with Avalon. Avalon is a shopping and dining, a live, work, play area that is really high end in Alpharetta, right off of 400, right near downtown Alpharetta. You got stores like Crate and Barrel and Marine Layer for shopping, a lot of boutique stores there. Apple Store is right there. You've also got a movie theater there. You've got 25 restaurants and bars. A lot to choose from here in the Avalon. In addition, in the warm months, you have live music on the plaza there at Avalon, and every Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. you can go watch free music there at the plaza, enjoy some time out in these beautiful evenings that we have here in Atlanta. There's not a set time for the warmer months, so that's why I said it that way. It's not like they start in April or May. I guess they just play it by ear. I'm not quite sure how they set up their times to play, but on their website they just put the warmer months. But I'm going to tell you that's probably going to start probably May, go all the way through October more than likely. So lots of time to go out there, enjoy some music. And speaking of music, there is the Ameris Bank Amphitheater that is here in Alpharetta. This place is a venue that's really fun to go to. They've got regular seating that's covered, but you also got a lawn area that's uncovered. You can get some pretty cheap tickets for pretty fun acts that come through. Some of those acts that are coming through are soon are Weezer and the music of John Williams. They're doing, it's probably the Atlanta Symphony maybe that's going to be playing out there. Look more into that. You got Fish coming out there, the Dave Matthews Band, Chris Stapleton, and more. So a lot of these nationally known and world known acts in some ways come here. So you're not going to get like the stadium tour people, but you're going to get some really good music there, and it's a really fun venue to hang out and enjoy live music. One interesting thing that I found out when I was looking up all this music stuff in Alpharetta is that the #1 jazz club in all of Atlanta and Georgia is actually in Alpharetta. It's called the Velvet Note. It was interesting. I went by there. The outside does not look like anything special. It's in a strip mall area. But the inside's really fun and decorated, and there's a lot of fun jazz musicians that come there. Next thing is to go to the downtown Alpharetta area. Now, the downtown Alpharetta area, it's a little miss for me in terms of there's a lot of traffic that goes through that main street there, so it doesn't seem as pedestrian friendly. They've done some things that are really nice. They do have a nice lawn area there. They have a splash pad for kids. Alpharetta Library's right there, City Hall. So it is, but it's split by more major roads. Some of these metro Atlanta cities are kind of off the beaten path a little bit, or don't have as much of a busy street going right through it. So again, kind of feels that Atlanta feel that I talked about with the roads that are a little busier, but all the hustle and bustle and the dining and bar options are down there. So me personally, I don't like as busy of roads where I'm walking at, but some of you might not, that might not matter at all. There is a few breweries down there. One is Jekyll Brewing, and it's a really fun place to hang out. If you into breweries, great place to eat. They've got a nice patio area and a lawn area right outside of it with some cornhole set up. So play some games, again, enjoy the beer options that they have there, and also just hang out with friends. Lots of restaurants and dining options there in the downtown Alpharetta area. And then there's another fun place if you're into speakeasies. There's actually a speakeasy there in downtown Alpharetta area called Roaring Social. Really fun place to hang out. They'll have some live music. You can make reservations for it, and in addition they actually have some private bowling lanes there. I think there are 12 of them, but it's not your traditional bowling. The ball's a little smaller, the pins are a little heavier, but a great place. It does have a dress code, so just be aware of that. But if you want a really fun, trendy place to hang out, Roaring Social, you might want to check that one out. All right, outside of bars and dining, they also have some fantastic parks in and around Alpharetta. I'm going to first start with Wills Park. I love Wills Park. Man, so many options there. Got some great walking trails if that's what you like to do. They have a dog park if you want to get your dog out. They have a large swimming pool and splash pad area open in the summer months. They got baseball fields. They've got disc golf. There's free disc golf there if you want to go play some disc golf. It's a really fun activity to do in your free time. And then there's also an equestrian center there. So if you're into horse riding and horseback riding and equestrian stuff, as I'm talking, you can probably understand horses were never my thing growing up, but it's a really fun and cool thing to have there. For those that maybe not be familiar, Alpharetta is right next to Milton, and the city of Milton and the Milton area, that's actually a big equestrian area. They got a lot of equestrian farms out there, so it's actually nice to have those farms and then the equestrian area here at that park, where I know they do some competitions. I don't believe they have stables for just keeping animals there, but they do have it for having your animal there while you do competitions and riding. So you can look more into that if you're in equestrian activities, but it just was a unique opportunity there just north of the Metro Atlanta area. Next park we'll talk about is Webb Bridge Park. At Webb Bridge Park, again, we have plenty of walking trails. I mean, that's a theme for all of Atlanta. All these parks have lots of walking trails. You got a nice playground area there, and then they have baseballs and soccer fields. Soccer is really big in this area, so if you're into soccer, you got great opportunities there at Webb Bridge Park. Next up is one of my favorite things, and that's the Big Creek Greenway. The Big Creek Greenway is a 12 feet wide paved area that goes 8 miles, and it's for biking, for walking, for jogging, for rollerblading, and it goes along Big Creek, which is just nice that you feel like you're out in nature, and it's just a great place to enjoy the days out here. And there's plenty of nature there. You can see some frogs and turtles, sometimes some ducks. You can run across some snakes every once in a while too, but it's just really fun, relaxing in this area. The Big Creek stretches from Windward Parkway to Mansell Road, and on the east part of the Big Creek Greenway, there's actually mountain biking trails too. So for those that are in mountain biking around Atlanta, there's not a lot of opportunities to do that, but you actually have it here at the east side of the Big Creek Greenway. Another thing to note is you have the Fulton side of the Big Creek Greenway, and then there's a little bit of a break, and there's actually a Forsyth part of the Big Creek Greenway that they're expanding even more. It's going to be, I think, 14 miles eventually. My hope is they connect both of these parts of the Big Creek Greenway so you can have 20 plus miles of riding trails and jogging trails and walking trails. That would be really exciting, and I think that's a plan way down the line. But if you're into biking, it's a great opportunity, great place to take the kids or the family, or just go on your own to get your exercises in. And lastly, for my golfers out there, the #1 public course in all of Georgia is actually Echelon Golf Course, which is located in Alpharetta, Georgia. So if you enjoy golf, there's a public course that's ranked #1 in all of Georgia here for you. Look, Alpharetta may not be for you, whether it be it's just too high in price, or maybe it's just that you want more diversity, don't want to commute that far, I don't know. But for a lot of people out there, this place is going to be awesome, fantastic for you. I haven't met anybody that, after looking to Alpharetta, moved to Alpharetta, regretted moving to Alpharetta. They absolutely loved Alpharetta and living there and everything that Alpharetta has to offer. So if you're looking to make that move right now, a month from now or a year from now, and you're considering Alpharetta or another Metro Atlanta area, then give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I'd love to help you make that smooth transition here to Atlanta and the Metro Atlanta area. Thanks for watching this video, and if you want to take a look at a few other videos I have about Metro Atlanta, then you can find those videos right here. And if you don't want to miss another video, don't forget to subscribe, tap that notification bell. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.